hopefully one day, the title, Triple R, the Ravishing Rick Rude story. What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Gen Report, in our special episode, The Void, where we talk about some of the stuff that nobody's really talking about too much and should be talking about. We got Bond casting, sort of interesting in terms of how they're going about it, which is I am all for it. Randy Savage, biopic.
Oh,
Brian,
yeah.
what? That will be hilarity. Mando and Grogu trailer. Interesting in terms of what they decided to show versus what we saw in the leaked trailer. Boyega talks his Star Wars trilogy, how he would have gone about it. I haven't read his comments. I've only sort of skimmed through some of the headlines and what he said, but not fully really looked at what he actually said. Some interesting preferences for the Gen Alpha audience in terms of their taste for movies, IPs, and characters. Brian, let's get into it. Bond casting. First, we got, the good news, obviously. And we mentioned this in our previous show in terms of the conversation we had about what people are feeling towards specific IP. And Hollywood is really excited about the Denis Villeneuve selection as a director. And we've always here on the channel have discussed who perhaps may be in the running for James Bond. And we now get word that he is looking to cast an unknown. Ryan, what do you think about this and what is being said?
Well, first off, this is why I said when we were previously getting those rumors, I said, throw those in the trash, because Denis Villeneuve he's shooting Dune Legacy right now. He doesn't even have he hasn't weighed in yet. And so he finally weighed in. And lo and behold, he's like, sometime next year after I'm done with Dune, I'll get around to this, but I want an unknown from the British Isles. Bravo. That, no notes. Like, you get it. You don't want the baggage of an ultra famous person. As much as there are people who are super famous who could do the job, right? Many people talk about Henry Cavill. That's what, there are people who can do the job. But you are liberating yourself, and you are a big enough deal as a director that you, as we said, what made the Bond the hottest IP riser on the list that we talked about in Hollywood? It was Denis Villeneuve being hired as a director. Full stop. Yeah. Leverage your name to get the guy you want to play the part. And that's exactly what he's doing, which is going to lead to a better movie.
Yes. It's going to be it is reintroducing ourselves to the Bond character, to someone new, to see how this guy plays it versus someone who let's say it was Henry Cavill. We have an idea of what this would be and what this will look. I think through this lens, we see is a totally new experience, especially him directing. So I'm all for it.
Casting track record. That's the other thing. Like, look at Dune. Not everyone in that cast is who you would think would fit a difficult to adapt sci-fi story. But Chalamet works. Zendaya works. Bardem, off the charts, works. Stellan Skarsgård, Austin Butler. Like, everybody works in that movie.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh, Rebecca Ferguson. Like, you go back to Sicario. Emily Blunt is an unlikely choice as a DEA agent lead who is awesome in that movie. Brolin is cooking. Del Toro is cooking. This guy knows how to cast.
Yeah.
I have zero questions that we are going to get somebody
who
the second you see the first teaser in the shot, you're like, I'm in.
Yeah. Did there have been mentions of him or his Bond being sort of pre-00? Have you heard that?
Well, there's been talk. Yes, there's been talk about the age and about where they are in the life cycle. I don't know that I need that, to be honest. Again, I would go the other way. I would actually go the James Gunn way. Trust the audience. We know the background. Craig already gave us kind of the Bond personal life.
Yes.
So you know what? Just drop us into the world. I want to see
Yes.
Denis Villeneuve's take on the Bond world and
Yes.
put us in it. And I trust him
Yeah.
to make it fun and interesting for us. So that's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so far so good in terms of James Bond and what's to come with that. Randy Savage biopic. Talk about 2 hours of Randy Savage, getting to know how he became the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yes. I've always mentioned this possible, or well, not possible, but hopefully one day, the title, Triple R, the Ravishing Rick Rude story.
We will be deep in the wrestling biopic when that arrives.
Come on, yo.
Somewhere in
That
the
is a
Brooklyn Brawler
title
will be
right
like,
there.
yo, I'm next.
Oh my God. Triple R.
Oh, wow. Let's talk about this, though, because this is not just an announcement. There are some tidbits here that I think are notable. So first off, it has a title, Macho. They're not messing around. Second of all, the script was co-written by Randy Savage's late brother, who's also passed away. So they're using the work of a family member as part of this. Lanny Poffo is
Yes,
one
I
of
was
the
gonna.
writers
Yes,
on this.
yes, yes.
And the person shepherding the project, perhaps an unlikely name, but apparently a lifelong fan of Savage, is comedian Kenan Thompson of SNL fame, is actually kind of the
Wow.
producer of this. So this
Wow,
is an
nice.
interesting, like, little comes with some bells and whistles on it.
You know what this tells me, Brian, with all you said right now, is that there are people who care about telling this story.
Correct. I mean, that's the thing. It's emanating from basically the Savage family and someone who apparently is a super fan. Which, of course, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so then there's the obvious who gets to play Macho Man, but then there's the who gets to play Steamboat, who gets to play Miss Elizabeth, right? This is one of those stories where, like, the other wrestlers
Hulk
start
Hogan.
exactly.
That's what to see that world unfold and to see from his perspective how he dealt with everyone around him, because I know people must have looked at him like he was nuts, right? Because he was so intense all the time.
You
So,
gotta get that voice right. Whoever reads for
oh
this,
yeah.
this is one of those characters you cannot mess up that voice.
Yeah, yeah, it has that part of it. If it doesn't work, the whole movie doesn't work.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
So, but I think that being that the people involved are those people, they're not gonna let that be. That's a non-negotiable for them.
I would agree.
But yeah, Ultimate Warrior, all those people that world is gonna
So,
be interesting.
look, that was my second thought when I saw this, because remember, we were supposed to get the Chris Hemsworth Hulk Hogan biopic, and that didn't happen. But, I mean, you have to bring this up because this is Hollywood. If this works, I mean, aren't you providing an on-ramp for biopics of some of these other wrestlers? I mean, why would you recast? Why wouldn't you cast this with the idea that, yes, like, you introduce your Hulk Hogan in this, and there's your on-ramp to the Hulk Hogan biopic. Now you have a cinematic universe of wrestling biopic. Like, I mean, that has to be part of this pitch. Like,
Yeah,
he's the entry point, but look at the golden age. Who plays Vince McMahon in this, right? Like,
there's so many characters, isn't? Because
that's what I mean. This is like an Avengers style concept if you do it well. Andre the Giant, who gets to play him? Like,
the fandom that will come out to see this, Brian, I think will be telling as to the sort of box office you're looking at here. It's not gonna I don't think it'll be crazy, but it could get crazy because I think this is huge. This could be huge. I wonder, Brian, what do you think was the reason for not giving it the green light for Hulk Hogan? Was it you what do you believe it was Chris Hemsworth not being able to embody Hulk Hogan? What do you think went wrong?
Um, well, the timing coincides a little bit with Hemsworth kind of going on his own personal journey because he had that discovery about his health, remember? And that he started doing that, was it Limitless series for
Yeah,
Apple? Like,
yeah, yeah.
that comes at around the time he was, because as I said, when you look at him in Love and Thunder, he's training for Hulk, which is why he looks so extra beefed up as Thor. But yeah, it's just I mean, that happens in Hollywood sometimes. Like it just like it gets shuffled to the back. I mean, look at, we talk about like how long The Rock took to make Black Adam. Like you sometimes see that. Look up Arnold Schwarzenegger movies that never happened. You'll see like these amazing ideas with great directors where you're like, how did that not get made when Arnold was at the peak of his powers? But they just don't work all the time, and so sometimes it just gets shuffled to the back, and then you never see it. So I don't know. I think that everyone just got lost in the weeds, but in a weird way, like, I think Macho Man might be a better entry point for doing this. I know Hulk is the bigger name, and obviously with his recent passing, I do think a Hulk movie is coming. But weirdly, I said, if you're doing this with the eye toward, I want to introduce people to the golden age of wrestling and its characters, might argue that this is actually a better way to do it, and then bring Hulk after that.
Although there's some ones who you could probably rank, but Macho Man's promo cuts are one of the best. Ric Flair is obviously Ric Flair, but Macho Man, you believed what he was you believed it, Brian. Yeah, that's gonna be something. Mando Grogu trailer.
Let's talk
If
about it.
you've been watching the channel, you guys saw my reaction and what I liked or what I didn't like and what I hope for it. And I did mention Brian and I had a discussion about a leaked version that showed a one shot of him taking down foes or whatever, and it looked amazing. Hopefully, it doesn't say this. Hopefully, that isn't the only dope thing in that movie that they didn't want to show. You know what I'm saying? Like the best part of that movie is that, and everything else was like whatever. I hope that's not the case. But not showing that at least in the trailer, Brian, it makes me wonder why didn't they? Because we were hyped when we saw that leaked version, yo. We saw it like it wasn't even in HD. It
No.
was like somebody's camera.
Yeah.
We was like, oh snap, this looks crazy. And they didn't show it here, Brian. What is going on?
Well, this trailer, the official one, is not good. Not good. Like, well, let's put it this way. Not good in the sense of not cinematic to me. It looks
Still looks like the show.
exactly like the show. What got us excited in the leaked version that came out of Asia is there were more shots in that looked beyond the show. So him fighting his way through the Imperial craft on a single shot cam. More with the AT-ATs in the snow. The scale looked and felt bigger in that teaser than it did in the official. The official one looks much more like we just want to give you the vibes of the seasons you've already seen. And it just doesn't get there. It just, like I said, it does remind you. It's like, oh yeah, there's Grogu doing Grogu things that we've seen 100 times already. And there's Mando doing some cool shots, and there's, the Razor Crest is rebuilt and looks great. But when they had that thing saying like forged in IMAX, I'm like, this doesn't look like it's going to look good in IMAX upon what I see here. And considering, Favreau's directing it, like, this ought to look better than the show. And I think the response to this trailer has been appropriate, which is people are underwhelmed for the most part.
Not good for the Star Wars brand yet again. When we're at a place now where we want to go see Star Wars in the movie theater and be excited and stuff like that, especially after Andor, y'all. Are you kidding me?
Which, by the way, that looks more cinematic than this trailer does.
Oh, yeah.
And that's an indictment of the trailer.
I was in the theaters to watch.
Yes.
Yes.
Andor would translate to the big screen. The sweeping landscapes, the world, the set pieces, that translates to the big screen. This, shaky. This on the biggest screen possible, I'm not convinced is a spectacular view. I would have liked to have seen some of the shots we saw in the leaked version in the official HD, just to see it clearly.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, like, Starfighter, which has an interesting cast, it's come out that Ryan Gosling is effectively shepherding a kid in that movie. And immediately everyone's like, isn't Mando shepherding Grogu already? Aren't we already doing that? Haven't we already been there with that? And I think that's part of the challenge with Star Wars. There's this, yes, the fandom wants some things familiar, but there's too much recycling. There's too much safety, right? The retreat to the Skywalkers, the retreat to these tropes in the storytelling. And that's why we say, like, Andor is really the only thing that pushed this brand into places it hadn't gone before and succeeded, which is why we're optimistic about it's honestly why we were optimistic about The Acolyte, even though it failed, right? There was that moment in time we were like, this is trying to push the action of force fighting into a place that we've never seen. And then the show didn't live up to that, but the idea was there. Dawn of the Jedi, we think, is like, okay, that's an idea that can push this IP to a place it needs to go. Star Wars does need to find new ground. The Rey New Order movie is not it. Simon Kinberg writing Skywalker movies 10, 11, and 12 is not it.
This is not it. This is not it.
I don't think, but
let me ask you this. And it brings me back to Superman Return when Kevin Spacey asks, who's that boy's father? Who's that boy's father in Starfighter? Who is that kid?
Well, there's rumors that Gosling is playing a Skywalker, just so you know that. There's rumors he's playing a Force-sensitive character who's a Skywalker. So again, that would be, we can't get away from the one thing. We'll see. But I just think this trailer did not get there as you must go next May to the biggest screen possible to see this. I thought the leak trailer got closer to that.
Oh yeah, the leak trailer had us hype. Like, oh snap, this looks interesting. But speaking of fixing Star Wars, Boyega talks about his way of fixing it. Brian, what did he say?
Oh, Finn, what could have been. He was speaking at Florida SuperCon in Miami Beach, and he was asked if he had been a producer on his own films, what changes would he have made to episodes 7, 8, and 9? Quote, if I was a producer on Star Wars from the beginning, you had a whole completely different thing. First of all, we're not getting rid of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and all these people. We're not doing that. The first thing we're going to do is fulfill their story, fulfill their legacy, and make a good moment of handing off the baton. That's point number one. Point number two, then we'll react to all of it. Our new characters, this one I was like, thank you. Our new characters will not be OP'd, meaning overpowered in these movies. They won't just grab stuff and know what to do with it. We got to struggle like every other character in this franchise. I would do that, end quote. And number three, I would look to the old Republic stories and see what we can add to the continuation of that. I would want to see things like Force Unleashed stories in there. I would try to expand the universe as much as possible while respecting the lore. And if we're expanding the lore, we have to do it within the respective boundaries that stay true. End quote. He then doubled back on the original actors to say, quote, Luke Skywalker wouldn't be disappearing on a rock. Hell no. Standing there and he's like a projector. I would want to give those characters way more, end quote.
Yeah, I never liked that scene.
Neither did Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill very publicly and famously said he disputed every creative choice Rian Johnson made with his character and then said, I got to go execute what you wrote. You're the director. But I hate this. Basically what he said.
Yeah.
So there you have it. What's your reaction to, I mean, hindsight is 2020. And there's no question, of all the characters, John Boyega got caught up in the conflict within the fandom. I mean, you can just see how important Finn is to Force Awakens and how marginalized he becomes over the course of the 3 movies. That's not on Boyega. That's on Disney and the fandom. But what's your reaction to his?
They sold him on something and then changed it up.
But they panicked. They panicked because of The Last Jedi. The reaction to The Last Jedi was not what they expected. The box office dropped off faster than they expected, and Disney tried to put Band-Aids everywhere, which is what Rise of Skywalker is, and in the process, they made no one happy. Hey, it's almost like I'm describing a recent event that Disney was embroiled in. They kind of whipsawed, changed their minds, and made no one. It's interesting. Same company, just pointing it out.
I think after seeing the movies that he was in and participated in that trilogy, what he says isn't so far-fetched or far off what he's saying now to what we thought originally what could have been done. I just didn't buy Ray having all this skill right off
That's
the
the one.
bat,
That's
yo. Right off the bat, yo.
Yeah, I don't know what other characters he felt like were unduly overpowered out of the gate. I was like, it's one character you're talking about. Because Finn doesn't really do that well with a lightsaber when he picks it up, so it's only her that can do stuff. But he is battling. He is, in fairness, Harrison Ford wanted to be killed. He asked. So, I mean, Harrison Ford is going to get what he wants, and Harrison Ford wanted to go out in Force Awakens. So you have that aspect of it.
But I would have done that differently. I wouldn't have had his son killed. I would have had him sacrifice himself in some way.
Good. Maybe even the Falcons got to buy it.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
But so you have that where I'm just saying the actor is also in the room kind of saying like, I want out. I don't want to do 3 of these. And then you have the tragedy of Carrie Fisher actually passing away, which was completely unexpected. So that piece is out of everyone's hands, right? So really what you're left with is Luke's story and how that was treated and how much of a role he had to play ultimately is the key to what Boyega is saying, which I don't have a problem with it because there's so many of these novels, right? There's so many of these Star Wars novels that came after the original trilogy in which Luke builds the academy, has all these epic duels. Like there is this whole thing that basically Disney turned around and was like, that doesn't count. That none of that is relevant. And people revolted when they did that.
People trying to do their own thing, yo. It's people trying to do their own thing. It's the same conversation with What If. It's right there.
Immortality! Take it! It's yours!
But no. You want to carve out your own little legacy. Instead of doing what's already there and just do it dope, yo. Those books were written. People loved them. Why do you want to do your own thing for? Create something new out of thin air and it doesn't work. Oh, wow. Millions of dollars spent, time wasted for something that nobody wanted or liked.
This is wreckage. Like what's left here at the end of Rise of Skywalker is not something you can resurrect, in my opinion. That's why Dawn of the Jedi is that's your help me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That's it. Because if that works, now you have a path into something completely different.
Yeah, yo. Yeah, that is.
Because, I was thinking about this with Mando Grogu, like in the context of what's fine for a TV show and what's tougher for a movie. The period in which Mando Grogu is set works fine for a TV show. Like the aftermath of the big battle, right? The aftermath of the Empire. You can build TV shows in corners, nooks and crannies. Movies are center stage. It helps to have the Emperor and Darth Vader and these big ideas, Thanos, Brainiac, right? These are things that people can get excited and build drama around as you build a trilogy. It's tough to do that in like the Outer Rim, away from all of it. And so that's why, like with Dawn of the Jedi, you have that landscape to build good and evil from the ground up in a different way in the Star Wars universe and make it big with new characters, not constrained by the legacy as much of these old ones.
Gen
Yeah.
Alpha shows interesting
Yes, they do.
preferences for movies,
for
IP,
Yes.
and characters. What's interesting about this, Brian?
NRG, National Research Group, put this survey out in the last couple of weeks. 6,100 U.S. moviegoers were surveyed this summer among Gen Alpha, so those defined as under the age of 13, i.e.,
Oh, wow.
the people that George Lucas once upon a time said, this is who Star Wars is for, just as an example. First thing out of the gate that stunned me, 59% of respondents in this demographic, higher than any other demographic on the board, said they preferred consuming movies at the theater over watching at home. And the prevailing wisdom is because they are the most online generation from day one, they are craving the social and community connection of something that brings them in contact with their peers. So you want hope for movies at the theater? It was just handed to you. But it does show you the audience that you're going to be catering to, right? It's an audience that is 30 some odd plus years younger than we are. So that right out of the gate was interesting. And I have another point on this at the end. Then they were asked, basically, what do you like? Franchises, movies, characters. What do you like? This list, on one level, didn't shock me, but the other level kind of like drove home what we're seeing a bit in terms of what the studios are doing. The number one IP idea for Gen Alpha, Roblox, number one. Number two, Minecraft, which just delivered what? $1 billion movie. Number three, Fortnite. Let's see if you notice a pattern here. Number four, Grand Theft Auto. So the top four slots are online gaming experiences, right? First character coming up, number five, Pokemon universe. Good news for Disney, number six, The Avengers, still matter to kids. So that is the hope for Disney. Avengers is the highest ranked character, superhero, whatever you want to call it, on the board. Number seven, Mario Brothers. Perhaps not surprising. A $1.3 billion movie was just dropped, and the sequel just teased for Super Mario Galaxy, which I'm sure will be massive. Number eight, perhaps not surprising, Spider-Man, still in the top 10, still matters. This is part of why we think Brand New Day is going to be huge. Number nine, anything Lego. And of course, that leads to Lego Batman, Lego Star Wars. Like, that's been very successful. Number 10, Madden NFL, which, by the way, there's a John Madden biopic coming. You seen that?
Interesting.
Nick Cage and Christian Bale looking amazing. Nick Cage with the fat suit looking amazing as John Madden, and Christian Bale as Al Davis. Incredible. So Madden NFL, number 10. Number 11, Sonic the Hedgehog, which, as we know, 3 very successful, profitable movies. Number 12, Wicked. Number 13, not to be confused with Spider-Man, is the entire Spider-Verse. So that's the animated side, which has obviously had a big impact. So Spider-Man and Spider-Man adjacent is on here twice. Number 14, anything EA Sports. Number 15, Squid Game. It's a little adult for under 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
Number 16, Five Nights at Freddy's, which actually has a sequel movie coming this fall. Keep an eye on that. Number 17, Wednesday, obviously a popular series on Netflix. Number 18, Among Us. Number 19, Stranger Things, which obviously is wrapping up. And number 20, Batman. What's not on the
Wow.
list? Star Wars, nowhere to be found. Anything else, DC? Got to give James Gunn credit, as we talked about. Superman did score well with Gen Z in particular. For Gen Alpha, at least now they don't care about Superman, but maybe James Gunn made some of them care a little bit with his movie. But this is a gamer's list, Pablo. This is a gamer's list. This is why we are entering the golden age of video game adaptations, right? Mario, Alex Garland's doing Elden Ring. You've got Zelda coming in live action. There is going to be no end to these because this generation loves their games. I mean, the Roblox movie has to be happening any day, right? I mean, after Minecraft was successful. So you're going to see a ton of these. But really, really interesting. They want to go to the theater, but they love games much more so than they love classic characters.
Double Dragon. Still out there.
There's all sorts of Ninja Gaiden. There's the Contra. There's all sorts of these we can do. You kidding me?
Contra. I mean, hey, that's a war game and sci-fi right there.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, just because like Halo didn't work, you can do it. You can do it. So anyway, it's what's interesting to me is you are seeing in here, right? The superhero genre just doesn't mean as much, with the exception of Spider-Man means a lot. Like Spider-Man means a lot to these people. So Spider-Man and Spider-Verse like are big deals. And the Avengers is still a really big deal. So like maybe if you're looking for hope for Doomsday, I think it's probably this. It's probably that the younger audiences are like, Mom and Dad, please take me to see this movie over and over again. Sidebar to this, which is not in the survey, but it was something that came out that we haven't had a chance to talk about. Have you been aware of what's going on at the Sphere in Vegas with regard to the Wizard of Oz? So they took the original Wizard of Oz, the Judy Garland version. They got the rights to the movie, and they like edited it down to 70 minutes long and threw it up on the Sphere. They reformatted it. And then they introduced like a live show that plays alongside the movie. And they started charging people $500 a ticket to go see this. They're pulling more than $2 million a day on this thing. Now, there's some people saying that this is sacrilege, and I would kind of agree. Like, why are you cutting this down? But I bring this up because you have this survey of Gen Alpha, right? A younger generation that says, I really want to do something social, immersive. Oh, and I would bring up, by the way, this K-pop Demon Hunters that came out on Netflix and kind of went viral to the point where they put it in the theater a month after it came out as a sing-along movie, and it made over $20 million in one weekend. How long, or what if you started to do something with our famous IP in a format like the Sphere? Like, what if you took Star Wars, unedited, threw that up on the Sphere, put a live show alongside it, and charged a premium for that? How much money would you make off of that? I wonder.
I think quite a bit for the experience. People will go see that, yes.
And then I started thinking, how long before James Cameron makes a movie specifically for the Sphere? Because if this is the way, right, if the younger audience is saying, no, I do want to go to the theater, but I want to go to the theater for an experience that's different, experience that's communal, that's interactive, that's immersive, it just got me thinking, like, as crazy and messed up as the Sphere thing seems, and I'm like, $500 for a movie? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, I don't know if they can keep charging that.
Yo.
But the idea that you could come up with this new panoramic format with some degree of interaction for some of the classics, I mean, maybe you could reinvent some of these and make a lot of money off it. I mean, I think there'd be an audience for Star Wars. There'd be an audience for the Avengers. There'd be an audience for like what James Gunn is doing with DC. Like, there are things out there that you could put into this kind of format where I'm like, yeah, maybe people really would revisit it or see it. Or maybe like Mario, right? Somehow they integrate something gaming with, like, I don't know. It just got me thinking of, like, that's, in some ways that is the responsibility of theaters and moviegoer and these producers to like create something different. And here's a younger audience saying, I want to go, give me something different.
Yeah, I mean, there's opportunities. We've had the discussion before, Brian, about movie theaters movie theaters being reworked for a different experience that isn't the same that we've been having for many, many years. I mean, there isn't a lot of difference between the movie theaters now than there were 20 years ago, right? The only difference now we have more IMAX theaters. Yeah, we got these laser, but it's still the same stuff. We're still looking at a screen and a chair.
It's IMAX. I mean, IMAX is really the sole innovate. Like Christopher Nolan's work in IMAX and what he's done now to IMAX cameras and to where people are shooting in IMAX all the time. That's really the lone lasting innovation. I think James Cameron's innovation with 3D worked for him, but I think we proved that outside of his hands, it really didn't sell. It came and went. So
Yeah.
you're right. Like, other than
Yes.
that, it's really just been, we get kind of a little more vivid color, a little more vivid blacks, and then better Dolby sound. Like, that's kind of really been the only push forwards. Now you're starting to get 4D a little bit. Like, that's somewhere you can get that. But yeah, like, there's not been a true next gen of movie going. And I don't know, like, this survey
Yeah.
is saying,
That it's still
yeah, I think
it's a
so.
huge opportunity.
I think it's there if someone cracks it. Like, the Sphere, it's probably not sustainable to charge $500, but if someone was able to
No.
take the Sphere idea, build something more cheaply or more affordable, where you could put movies up in that kind of digital format, that kind of immersive experience, where maybe you're paying $40 instead of, the 25 that you pay, and say, "Hey, but the $40 gets you this experience." There might be something there.
Oh, definitely there is. Uh, I mean, I just want to make mention of. I don't know when it's supposed to come out. Splinter Cell. I think it's a movie or a show.
That's an animated show
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Netflix,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
good.
yeah. Yes, exactly. It hasn't come out yet, right?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
I've been waiting for that forever because I love that game. And there's also Netflix is also doing what's that other show? Assassin's Creed.
Yes, finally coming. Yep.
So there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of IP for the gamers because it's just not only the game, is that opportunity to sit in the theater with other like-minded people and watch something that they all love to do. That's why I was blown away by. Listen, I didn't go into Minecraft excited or nothing. I went there to take my kid and chill on my phone. But when I was watching it, these kids were
Yeah.
screaming out and clapping, and
Yeah.
it was a good time. It was a good time, and it showed, and there is a lot of opportunity for that. Um, we're at a time right now where is we have to, or execs have to just move to the side and let these new people come in and really change things, and w- w-
No,
is
I agree.
ripe for new ideas. And based on what you've said regarding these
There's surveys that they're doing, yeah.
they're telling you what they want, but people, these old execs who have been doing this for years and are still in charge of making decisions and stuff like that aren't changing. And because if you listen to our who we talked about, the Sony guy talking about it's a surprise that, come on, dude, like really? And there's a bunch of them out there. He's not the only one to say that, and perhaps have said it in not in such a um open platform for everybody to hear, but these are the conversations that if you that are happening, and do we get the result of it? And so it's an opportunity to do something new, man.
Well, I think what you're referring to in terms of generational gaps is interesting, because I think it's notable, for example, what we're seeing in DC, where you have a generation of filmmakers who grew up on Batman the Animated Series who are now pitching. That's my inspiration. So if you think about like the director 25 years older than them had no show like that to watch. What were they watching? Adam West Batman, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying that think about what their inspirations were. And so, like, for example, I thought that like the Alex Garland doing Elden Ring to me was really interesting. I'm not a big Elden Ring player, but I thought it was interesting because that's an Academy Award level writer and filmmaker who was like, I have this video game that I'm passionate about. I'm adapting this. There's more of that out there, right? So you're going to see a generation of filmmakers who grew up on Super NES, Genesis, PlayStation, who, as they're being asked by this younger generation, make me films of the games that I love, I think you're going to find like there are directors out there, bigger names than you think, who spent a lot of hours playing some of these games that are like, hell yes, I'm going to adapt that game because I love it. And I'm curious to see where that leads us. Like, because it used to be when you adapted a video game, they would fail invariably at the box office in large part because the people doing it weren't qualified, weren't really fans of the game itself. They were just kind of there to collect the check and play around with the IP. They didn't get it.
The Sony CEO.
Yeah, kind of, but it's like, but that's how the studio treated it, right? The studio didn't look at it as a true asset.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, you know, you like I said, you look at the Clayface situation, you look at, you know, Krager's with weapons being like, I got this idea for henchmen because it came out of the man who killed Batman. Like, that's going to happen on the gaming side too. Like, you're going to find this like superstar filmmaker or actor or producer who's like, yeah, I spent countless hours in my trailer, even when I was a young actor, playing insert the game. And that's the one they want to do. I mean, you brought up the Splinter Cell thing. You know what's interesting about the Splinter Cell thing is the guy who created John Wick is the one doing it. Like, I guarantee you, Derek Kolstad has played that game. That's why he's doing it. I guarantee you he's played that game. He's not there by accident. Right. So this is the point.
Hell's
like,
yeah.
This gives you a way into these things being not like, well, serious, but like taken seriously as they're made. And that was never the case for video games growing up. Like, I don't know if this, like, I don't, like, we don't know how good the Street Fighter adaptation or Mortal Kombat 2 is going to be, right? But, like, all I know about Street Fighter is every time I see set photos or, like, there was footage the other day of Ken and Chun-Li just, like, on set. And I'm like, at least they're trying. Because, like, these people look like the characters for the first time.
They're going for it. And that's what you got to do. You got to go for it. If this is the opportunity to do it as best as you can. Look at He-Man, yo. He-Man. How long have we been talking about He-Man? Even before the announcement of the movie. It's like, yo, as a kid, we loved the He-Man, but we didn't think He-Man was like, yo, you can't do
My
He-Man
kid
is
could
tough.
watch one episode and
But
was
they're
like, really?
going
Like,
for
you
it.
like this? Like, you watched this every day when you were a kid? I was like, yeah, I guess I did.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure it put a lot of people who didn't speak the language off of English. I'm like, this is English? Forget about it. Word up, yo, because that's what we used to watch as a kid. And I'm pretty sure our parents are watching this a lot and
But
listening. Like, I can't
nowadays,
learn
little
this.
American kids
What
are
is
talking like
this?
British kids because they listen to Peppa Pig, right? Like, we grew up listening to He-Man.
Yeah, yo. I got my son listening to Thundercats because Thundercats is dope and it's still dope. Interesting things happen, especially that Macho Man Randy Savage thing. That is
catnip for us.
It's not just Randy Savage, it's everybody else around him, yo. That's gonna be interesting to see and how they pull this off. Because if you're gonna give me an accurate Randy Savage, I better get a accurate Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake, Honky Tonk Man.
Absolutely.
He used to go
There's
at it
so
with
many
Honky
characters.
Tonk Man.
That's the thing is you can cameo.
You know what I'm saying?
All these like Jake the Snake,
What?
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You can cameo at endless.
You talk about
There's like
cameo
no end to
fest.
these people. That's the thing. Like, this is truly like the Avengers. Like, there's no end to that. Hell, I will shave my head to be Mean Gene Okerlund if they give me a mic. Like,
Yo, the
Bobby the
favorite guy,
Brain.
yo, is Bobby the
A
Bobby the
true
Brain
villain, by the way. If
Heenan
you're gonna
was
do this movie, like
hilarious, yo.
you can make him a villainous for like an actual villainous persona.
But he was hilarious in his commenting. Yo, there's just so many things you can do with that. I cannot wait. The Mando Grogu thing, man, it was I don't know how they're feeling about it, but they can't be feeling good about what the reception that they got for this. Um and Gen Alpha has spoken in terms of what's possible for studios to sort of listen and apply and going for it and going all out to bring these characters to life. That's all any of us want, right? When we reading a book, when we reading, like, for example, even though it was okay,
Jack Reacher.
yes, it's like I understand why they were upset. This is not what bringing the character to life looks like. You know what I'm saying? So this is what they have to keep in mind, yo. If you bring these characters to life, find the right people. It doesn't have to be a big name star, but if the big name star is the right guy for it, then you try to make it happen. But there's just so many opportunities, man. But there's just a lot of lazy execution and just money grabs, and I'm tired of it, yo. I'm tired of it. I am, yo. I don't want to. It's hard for me to. I don't want to waste my time watching garbage.
There's a limit to this, but I think the audience definitely has placed an appropriate premium on authenticity. I think you see it in a lot of forms, right? I think it's why, in Deadpool and Wolverine, there was never a question that Hugh Jackman was going to be in the classic Wolverine cowl and yellow and blue, finally, right? And which is as we know, the true evolution, the true 180 from what would you prefer, yellow spandex, right? Which X-Men 97 clearly riffed on. Like, the audience is at that point, right? They're seeking a lot more of that, which is why, we'll see how He-Man plays, but I think they were wise to lean into, regardless of how silly it may seem on the surface, the audience will demand that He-Man be wearing what He-Man's supposed to wear, and that his sword look like his sword, and that Man-at-Arms costume look like Man-at-Arms. Like, that's why it looks like a direct adaptation. Like, the cardboard cutout, which Pablo didn't get to see because apparently they took it down too late.
I saw it, but then I went to look for it again. I couldn't find it again.
I mean, he's wearing the accurate green or gray kind of breastplate with the red cross. He looks to have the loincloth. And you look at Battle Cat, you're like, Battle Cat looks just like Battle Cat. It's like there's no change. He's huge. He's like a red saddle. He's got the green pattern. Like nothing else will do. And so, like, if you're gonna adapt these video games, it's the same thing. It's like you're gonna adapt my video game, but you're gonna make my character like a complete change from how it looks on the game that I played. That's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly with you. Is the
That's why Michael
mistake.
Bay, Michael Bay
That's a
coming back to
mistake, I
Transformers.
think.
I don't know what he's gonna do
Well,
there.
it's unless he finds religion and they make the G1 designs like Travis Knight did in the beginning of Bumblebee. Like, unless they do that, then I think the audience. I will say, it is what has me concerned about Voltron, because this confirmation that it's a new generation of pilots and that the older actors represent they're some of the OG characters that are like phasing out, and these new kids are like totally new. I think that's a strike against this movie. Like, so there's no Keith, there's no Allura, there's no Pidge. It's like, so does that mean there's no Lotor?
It's like,
Why? What are we doing?
why you? Yeah, like why you skipping over something you ain't never do before? It's right there. Oh my God, man. I'm sorry, man. But if it fails, I feel like Drago. If it fails, yo. You let him fail, yo. Let him fail. And let him take the criticism. Hopefully they hear it. Hopefully they understand why we didn't like it. they gotta fail in order for them to get the message. Even though you're wasting a freaking opportunity, yo. Look at what He-Man is doing, yo.
That first teaser has to be soon,
That
and
is
I
crazy.
am just fascinated to see what they show, people's reaction to it. I I I just am very curious how far that IP still reaches. I'm just this is one of the greatest, like, risks and experiments, and I'm all for it, but
Yes, you are absolutely right. It is a big risk and a huge experiment. But I think kids will want to go see it. And if they don't, or not, they're not aware of it, their parents are gonna take it because people like us, Brian, who grew up on it, are gonna take our kids to go see something. Perhaps we don't know, but they're going for it, Brian. Hopefully, man, whatever the reviews are, I don't care. I want to see what they did, Brian, what they were able to
I'm
do.
with you.
That's all I
I'm
care
with you.
about.
This is a top.
Because there's no story you can point out, like, yeah, I want to see that story. There's nothing. There's nothing.
I do, you know what I do? I'm gonna bet on this. I know we were a little off on a tangent here. I will bet because of everything we've seen from Travis Knight on this movie is he's going for, once they transport Adam into Eternia, he's going for the authentic looks. I'm gonna bet you that he takes one of the things that we're making fun of now in terms of visuals and He-Man powers. I bet you at least one of those is in the movie, and it's in there as a wink. Like whether he's throwing a boulder, whether he's running with the camera at his feet, whether he's swimming like crazy, whether he pounds his fists on the ground. One of those is going to be in the movie, and we are going to die laughing when it happens.
They have to. They have to. I'll be disappointed if it's not, yo. If they're going all out like this, Brian, I'm telling you, I have the power moment. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be an experience at the
Cheer.
theaters.
I think people of our age will cheer. Like when they see it and they cut to him and he's like in the entrance of Castle Grayskull and you see the light, you know it's coming. People, I don't even think you're gonna hear him say it because people are gonna lose their mind.
I'm telling you, man. Oh my God, I cannot wait. That's what I'm saying. Thundercats. I can't wait. I can't wait for this He-Man movie, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna do numbers. It's crazy. We talk about He-Man, yo. But yeah, let us know in the comment section below what you guys think, and comment in the comment section below what you guys think of this He-Man movie, because nobody's really said anything about He-Man or have had any opinions about it. But let us know in the comment section below what you've heard about He-Man, what you've seen, what you expect. Are you looking forward to seeing He-Man? Because we're looking forward to seeing He-Man, and it's not because I'm excited to see the story. I don't care. I want to see what this looks like, yo. What this a live action He-Man looks like. That's it. That is it. That's what I want to see. But yeah, let us know in the comment section below what you guys think. And we'll see you next time on the Nerd Report.